Emma James is ready with MediaWatch, taking a look at reactions to, well, a big day for Brexit. The UK Prime Minister, Theresa May, triggering Article 50.
Yes, and as Theresa May put it, it's a day of celebration for some, but disappointment for others, and that really is being reflected online and in the media too. This tweet, typical of those who voted for Brexit, the hashtag Brexit Day, and an image from A Christmas Carol saying, "You boy, what day is this? Why, sir, it's Brexit Day."
So that's Scrooge.
Clearly that's a celebratory look at the fact that it is now... we are on the countdown, the run-in, if you like, to leaving the European Union. Cartoonists are mixed in their approach to this. Fairly positive ones from The Telegraph. This is Matt. "I've shut my Liberal Democrats indoors. They get very distressed about the triggering of Article 50, says the dog to the cat." And this also from The Telegraph. "To infinity and beyond, Theresa May," portrayed as Buzz Lightyear, of course, from the Toy Story movies. That is open to interpretation. Does that mean that she's blasting off and she's no idea where she's headed? I think possibly it does. Looking at this one from The Times, Peter Brooks has La Folie Brexit, the great folly, the big error, if you like. Obviously a take on Lautrec's version of Les Folies Bergères. And you've got Theresa May leading her faithful off of the cliff there, which is rather unfortunate. Libération for a view from the French, because, of course, there's a real historic rivalry between the UK and its closest neighbours, France. But Libération says, "We miss you already." Very similar sentiments to those expressed by the President of the European Council, Donald Tusk, earlier today. Elsewhere, though, on Twitter, lots of people trying to be creative. Many people coming up with images like this. They've got a euro note and basically struck off the United Kingdom. This person has come up with a blue plaque for David Cameron. Blue plaques are used in the UK to denote an area where something historic happened. David Cameron lived here, it says, gambled his country for his ego and ran away to let others sort out the problems when he lost. Because, of course, he is the man who actually started all this off with the idea of a referendum on whether or not the UK should stay in Europe.
He was pandering to the hard right when he did that. He didn't think it would happen. I was going to say harsh words, but true, you know.
Absolutely.
He lost and he scarpered. Simple as that.
Other people pointing towards a U-turn that was made by Theresa May, the current Prime Minister. This comment was made less than a year ago. The opportunities for people living here in the UK will be more secure, will be better if we're inside the European Union. A week is a long time in politics. A year is pretty much a lifetime. 1973, of course, when the UK went into Europe, these were the kind of headlines that we saw. And these are the kind of headlines that we're seeing today.
Saying, Europe, here we come, yippoo! That's all changed now, isn't it?
The huge, huge contrast. And these are today's papers, the same papers pictured here from 1973. Cast a very, very different light on it. Great Britain goes into Greater Europe, said the Daily Mirror then. The Sun today, pulling no punches. They actually projected this onto the White Cliffs of Dover. Dover and out.
Dover and out. There you go. Now, one person who's triumphant, as you might expect, is Nigel Farage. What's he had to say?
Yes, well, Nigel Farage, who was the leader of UKIP and whose whole raison d'etre really was to make the UK leave Europe, is obviously very pleased. He's tweeted this: "You've been triggered," the delivery of the letter that made it all happen. But one thing that many people are talking about is a rather strange comment that he made on his own radio show on LBC yesterday, when somebody called in, a gentleman called Tony, and asked, would Nigel Farage apologise if everything went wrong courtesy of Brexit? Take a listen to what he had to say in response.
Tony, if Brexit is a disaster, I will go and live abroad. I'll go and live somewhere else. But you know what, Tony? Do you know what, Tony? It isn't going to be a disaster. We've just managed to get ourselves in a lifeboat off the Titanic. The EU does not work, Tony. It's failing. It's failing.
May I?
You may.
That's another rich man who wanted that and says, if it doesn't work, I'm going to scarper and leave you all to it.
It is,
and that's the man who says he speaks for the ordinary man. What a load of nonsense.
It is really quite incredible. Now,
Dreadful.
A lot of people who voted to remain have been taking out their frustrations using the hashtag Write the Article 50 letter, because At this point, yesterday evening, nobody knew what was in that letter written by Theresa May. So they've come up with their own versions, including the singer Lily Allen. If you're reading this, it's too late. She got a lot of criticism for that. Some people saying she was scaremongering. This one considerably less controversial. We can still pop over occasionally for cheap booze, right? But if you do want to know exactly what Theresa May had to say to Europe when breaking off this long-term marriage, the full text of the letter is available on the government website .gov.uk, so you can take a look at that. One last word on this. Christian Adams, the cartoonist, noticed something that I found funny anyway. If she'd signed it at 10:10, it would have been a happy face clock, because look at the face of the clock. It does look like a very gloomy little man with a moustache.
Would have been that way happy. Got it. Emma, thank you very much indeed. Those you worried about your booze will bring you a bottle of wine if you send us an email. Don't worry about it.